Welcome to round number 5 here of Psycho Turtle Place's presentation of the Gym Challenge, our first one for the 2026 season here in Pico Rivera, California. I am Jesus Coronel, that is Dennis Geisler. You want another rematch? We got one from last season. It's Michael Aguirre and David Ochoa Jr. back on the stream again.
Yeah, definitely two players we are quite familiar with in this region, although not on teams we've seen them on too often, and certainly on pretty unique teams, I'll say that.
Yeah, here we go with the team preview on Michael's side. It's going to be Michael Aguirre on the Hisuian Typhlosion, the Whimsicott, Blood Moon Ursaluna, Farigiref, Incineroar, and Rillaboom, David Ochoa Jr. on Garchomp, Golden Ghost, Sinishot, Tyranitar, Milotic, and Talonflame.
Yeah, obviously the eye is drawn to that Milotic. Definitely helps at dissuading the Incineroar from showing up all too much in this set. Obviously, you also have to consider the Typhlosion all the time. It's one of the few Pokemon in the format with Eruption, one of the fastest and hardest hitting Pokemon in the format with Eruption.
Right alongside Jotonian Typhlosion.
Yeah. Although there's still, like, and the advantage of the Hisuian Typhlosion is that it's also immune to Fake Out. Just has so much going for it in that. But we'll see if Michael wants to go for that or a bit of a different mode with this team.
Yeah, and don't mind the screen there. There's like a little bit of technical advancements here for refreshing stream because we're still dealing with the Switch 2 issues because, like, we're still, like, getting used to the game speed, we're getting used to everything else. Game number 1, about to set, and round number 5 here is going to be David Ochoa on the Garchomp Talonflame standard lead. It's going to be Michael on the Ursaluna Rillaboom.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, the Garchomp Rillaboom matchup has been an interesting one for a little bit because it's not a super obvious direct counter, but Garchomp so badly wants to just click that big Earthquake, potentially with Terra Ground. And you can't do that against Rillaboom. You just get weakened so much with the grassy terrain. And so Garchomp kind of has to do a little bit of a different workaround for some of this. And we'll see if Garchomp's actually able to provide a whole lot in this matchup.
Yeah, I was about to say, you can click Earthquake, but it's just like with Rillaboom in the field, you're kind of dissuaded to unless like your opponent's Pokemon are in range. And if they're in range, you definitely do click it. It's just like, right now, it doesn't seem like a good time to do so, as Rillaboom is just going to switch out into the Farigiref, trying to catch a Brave Bird.
Definitely one of the things it's possibly trying to catch there.
It's the only thing that's priority on David's side with Ailwings, and there's going to be a big Terra Normal from Blood Moon Ursaluna on Michael's end.
Yeah, I'm curious how this is going to play out for this first turn. I'm curious.
Talonflame protects.
Yeah, I don't dislike that idea, and it might just be a double protect to try to...
Now Dragon Claw straight into the Ursaluna. That is a decent amount of damage, and here comes a big Terra Normal Hyper Voice coming from Michael's Terra Normal Blood Moon Ursaluna. It's going to hit into this Garchomp.
Oh,
and
wow.
that's over 75% damage.
It's pretty good damage right there. It does still take a little bit of damage in return there with that Life Orb, and I mean, it'll certainly take another Dragon Claw, and it can hit Hyper Voice again, and certainly is perfectly fine with hitting Talonflame with this Hyper Voice here.
I think the issue here is still this Talonflame. Because the Game Link is still up, it cannot go for Brave Bird at all.
Yeah, and that probably means it can't attack. Most Talonflames
it has to switch out.
Yeah.
And here comes in place is that Tyranitar. And Tyranitar is going to provide that Sandstorm with the Sandstorm ability, which does trigger Garchomp's potential ability of Sand Veil. It's just going to protect so far. We have yet to see Sand Veil or Roughtskin. I actually also discovered this fact just recently. Sand Veil does not check for Mind's Eye.
Yeah, that is correct.
Meaning, Ursaluna can actually miss a move, but not this time to the Tyranitar.
Yeah, I can't miss the Tyranitar, that's for sure. But the Tyranitar will take basically nothing because of that Sandstorm boosting its special defense.
Hyper Voice also comes up from the grab. We're just screaming out here.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of yelling bear and giraffe.
And speaking of yelling, I think the Frost Race is going to give Farigiref a much needed rehabilitation, or at least some health.
Yeah, although at the same time, it's still not doing a ton of damage here. Obviously, Psychic can't hit the Tyranitar. Hyper Voice, even at +1, is not going to do too much of that Tyranitar. It'll hit the Garchomp, but the Garchomp is still fast here, and that's assuming it hits the Garchomp, as the Sand Veil could just dodge.
That's if it's Sand Veil, because, like, There is a possibility you can just bluff the Sand Veil and just be like, oh, wait a minute, actually, rephrase it. That you could threaten the Sand Veil, and then all of a sudden be like, oh, was Ruffin the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, Michael certainly knows the answer, so he
so
can
does
play
David.
around that. And David certainly does, because that's his own Pokemon. But in any case, I think we could just see another Dragon Claw into the Ursaluna and maybe just David playing it, because both these Pokemon, I mean, Tyranitar's pretty slow. Garchomp will certainly outspeed everything here, and so it's just a matter of whether Garchomp wants to...
Ursaluna switches out.
I don't hate that. It was gonna...
Rillaboom switching in? No, it's Wolf's Incineroar!
Wolf's Incineroar.
And it's not going to work on a Garchomp because it has a Queen Amulet, so it's merely meant to stop the Tyranitar from potentially knocking out the Farigiraf, but it's just going to protect.
Interesting protect there. I'm curious if this is going to be like an Earthquake or something here. No?
Dragon Claw into the Farigiraf. Just a decent amount of damage. Here's a Hyper Voice. This probably will knock out the Garchomp, meaning Tyranitar kind of prone to the Incineroar's Fake Out now.
A little bit. I mean, this is... It started really... This entire set has started really awkwardly for David, where it seems like he wanted to play around the Garchomp early on, and Michael just kind of played around that with going, okay, I'm just going to bring this bulky team with the Incineroar and with the Rillaboom that can stop the Earthquake from going down, and the Blood Moon and the Farigiraf, who will not take much damage against the Dragon Claw, and it just prevented so much of the damage from going down here.
And Talonflame does come back in for this Garchomp, which until the Sandstorm chips away at this Talonflame, Gale Wings is still going to prevent Talonflame from using Brave Bird against this Farigiraf because of the Armor Tail. So you're really only have two options here: Tailwind and play into a potential Trick-or-Treat for this Farigiraf, or Will-O-Wisp into the Farigiraf.
That's certainly true.
Or you can just protect just to make sure you just don't take any unnecessary damage and break your Gale Wings.
Yeah, it might just be slowing things down a little bit, because, yeah, you will take...
And Tyranitar's not going to move this turn.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what
it's next to move, and for Farigiraf, quick Psychic, and it's going to be into Protect. And now it's interesting, because, well, your Gale Wings is now gone, which means you can finally click Brave Bird, but just, like, how much is this Tyranitar doing in terms of damage? Is that... We also just saw it doesn't have an Assault Vest because it obviously you protect. So
yeah,
the damage is going to be interesting because first of all, Knockoff's not going to really do.
Oh, it didn't break the it didn't break the Gale Wings because of the safety goggle.
Oh
no! So it still has those Gale Wings up, so it still can't attack that side of the field. It might.
It has to be a Will-O-Wisp then.
Oh, we're gonna see the Protect here. It could be a Tailwind. Like, certainly an option.
I figured it had to be Will-O-Wisp. I figured it had to be. Yeah. And Incineroar obviously didn't switch out. And Rock Slide comes out. Tyranitar, I think it got intimidated. Kind of losing track and missed.
Yeah, it is at -1, and it doesn't help if it misses the Incineroar.
And now it's taking another parting shot into the face.
Yeah, now Michael's certainly playing that balanced setup. Switch in the Incineroar, get the Fake Out, then parting shot out, weaken the Tyranitar a bunch, and then switch into Rillaboom.
Oh yeah, easy does it if you're Michael.
This is what we like to see.
This Farigiraf is just staying out here and just doing all the work it can do. The only problem is that the work can't work against Tyranitar, and that's why Rillaboom's here.
And I mean, that last turn, the Protect from Farigiraf didn't really do anything. At some point, it'll probably want to get aggressive. Tyranitar's already at -2, so at some point, Farigiraf can just start hitting without much of a concern of...
You wanted a parting shot before? How about another Intimidate?
Yeah, this is really some...
It's rough for David.
Some balance gaming, yeah.
Yeah, Tyranitar's got to get out of here. And -3 attack, and in comes David's last Pokemon. It's Golden Go.
It's Golden Go, which I think has some ways of getting...
Will-O-Wisp, it tried to go to the center slot again.
That'll make it a little bit difficult because I think Talonflame might just...
hangs on at red health, and Sandstorm subsides.
Well, it does mean Talonflame can finally attack. That is important because David just doesn't have damage to output right now, or has not for most of this battle.
sounded like one attack on Ferreira after a couple, and one on Ursaluna with Garchomp.
Yeah, it has not been much. I mean, at this point, that's the big thing for David, is that you need to at least get a couple of big attacks out and have some legitimate threat of KOing something. And it's actually just going to be the Golden Ghost switching out.
Into the Tyranitar.
Yeah.
I wonder how important this switch out is. You know, you reactivate Sandstorm. I'm curious what Talonflame does here, even though you are at -1. Did you try to lose the Incineroar again? Yeah, he just really wants to catch a switch with the Incineroar. Can't find anything, and Talonflame just goes down.
Yeah, and Incineroar does have some kind of attack.
Oh, okay, double crit from the Hyper Voice.
The double crit's pretty good.
Definitely unnecessary damage onto the Tyranitar. Is it another firing shot? No, it's going to be a knockoff. And now, you in the audience have to figure out inside it, although it's already been on the screen. It's a Life Orb from the Tyranitar.
Yeah, I like the knockoff there onto the Life Orb, because it also weakens the Tyranitar on top of everything else.
Golden goes the last Pokemon from David Ochoa Jr., and this has pretty much been the Incineroar show.
It has in a lot of ways, but also the Ferreira has gotten a lot of work done so far. I mean, a lot of people kind of underestimate the damage. They're used to the Reg I Ferreira with the Electric Seed that just kind of sits around and helping hands and stuff. But this is that Throat Spray variant. The Hyper Voice does good damage, the Psychic does really good damage, and I mean, I think a Psychic into the Golden Go will be a pretty good way to try to clean up this game for Michael, at least getting towards the end of the game here, with still all 4 Pokemon standing and on green HP.
Definitely a big momentum shifter here from Michael's side, and we had all the speed before in the first 4 rounds, and this one is just a big change of pace here. Nasty Plot comes out from Golden Go, just in case if it happens to survive as long as it will need to. Rock Slide double connects to both these Pokemon, does get both of them at least under half HP. Ferreira does not flinch, gets a Hyper Voice, and still lands into the Tyranitar. Decent damage. Was that another crit here? No, it wasn't. And knockoff does not flinch, and Golden Go hangs on!
Yeah, I wonder if Michael was trying to tick the Tyranitar there, or if he thought that the Golden Go was going to Terrastalize. Either way, a bunch of damage got done to the Golden Go, so not a huge deal. Question now, I mean, at this point, it's going to be hard for, even if David is able to pick up the KOs here, for David to get through the last 2 Pokemon here for Michael, the Rillaboom and the Ursaluna in the back.
I'm also wondering how much damage up David has left, because I'm not sure if Nasty Plot +2 Make It Rain knocks out Incineroar from his range. I think it'll be pretty close, but I'm not sure if it will.
Yeah, Yeah.
I mean, at least the Tyranitar, I think the Tyranitar did outspeed the Incineroar too, so yeah, it will be a +2 Make It Rain from this Golden Go, and assuming because you lost your leftovers from that knockoff, yeah, you do not knock out the Incineroar. The Tyranitar outspeed the Incineroar at all? If it does, David's still in this game. It is. It's going to knock out the Incineroar and knock it out, and for finally get rid of that safety gauntlet that's been vouching the Sandstorm with.
Yeah, that's true. But I do think that this game's still pretty over with a Rillaboom switch in here.
Still a lot of damage.
Yeah, there's still a lot of damage around, but Rillaboom still pretty bulky. I mean, it's Golden Go, but it's also just +1 Golden Go, and it's not.
I'd scream a double protect turn from David here to get a bit of HP recovery, because there's a possibility that this is Grassy Glide range for Rillaboom on Golden Go.
It's certainly Grassy Glide range on Golden Go. It might be Grassy Glide range on Tyranitar also.
I mean, but David has to get the Terrastalize, so there could be a Terra Flying from Tyranitar, depending on whether it is that Flying Terra, or it could be a Grass Terra, you know. I've seen both those Terras be popular, like, from popular footage, you know, Tyranitar basically everywhere, and then Grass Terra made famous by Lindul himself.
Yeah, certainly true, but I don't know. I think Michael's in a pretty good spot here, and it's just a matter of probably just focusing down that Golden Go for right now and dealing with the Tyranitar later, because it's not like the Tyranitar's doing a whole lot to the...
Oh, I'm surprised the Golden Go didn't protect there. It just goes down to that Grassy Glide, and now Tyranitar has to put in all the work against both these Pokemon from Michael Aguirre. It's another knockoff into the Rillaboom, does over half damage, but that might be all she wrote. Another Hyper Voice comes out, and yeah, another Grassy Glide should 100% do it.
Yeah, the Tyranitar is doing a lot of damage. We'll be able to keep that in mind for game number 2. But even without the life orb, but I think it certainly was just Michael figuring out from Team Select that, okay, if it is the Garchomp sort of team, I can just bring this balanced team with the Ursaluna and figure things out.
Yeah, and there's a terrifying from Tyranitar. Maybe it's had too late, but at the same time, David had to make a read on where the Grassy Glide, the initial one, was going, and well, now you gotta figure out if Tyranitar is gonna be able to hold on to this U-turn. Yeah, you see, there's nothing.
I mean, the problem with going with Terraflying Tyranitar is that you lose the grassy terrain recovery, and you take damage from the Sandstorm. So suddenly all of that gets flipped.
Rock Slide again from this Tyranitar into the protected Farigiraf. Do we see a connection? Yes! It hits the Ursaluna. That's not enough damage.
Yeah,
now,
okay, the Sandstorm does end, but you still don't get the grassy terrain recovery that all the other Pokemon on the field are getting, and you also, well, because the Sandstorm ended, you lost the special defense that probably would have let you take this hit, but I think you're going to drop the Hyper Voice here.
Yeah, another Rock Slide comes out from the Tyranitar, which does end up... Oh, is it double protect? Yeah, I think about it, a double protect from Michael.
Think so.
No, it just misses the Farigiraf, and this is another Hyper Voice, so either Tyranitar speed tying or the Farigiraf just slow.
Yeah, Farigiraf usually pretty slow, so I'm not too surprised. This Tyranitar is a bit interesting. I wonder if it is trained very heavily in attack and speed, because it was hitting way harder than I'm used to Tyranitar hitting, and moving a bit faster than I'm used to Tyranitar moving.
I mean, you didn't see the life orb on it, and that maybe signals that it's more aggressive.
Yeah, that's exactly true. But in either case, Michael winning game 1 and getting a lot of info from it. I'm curious if he wants to change things up at all in game 2, get a little bit more aggressive with the Typhlosion and Whimsicott, or just keep playing the same thing and not fixing something that isn't broken.
Not at all, and if it works, it works, and definitely does also signal that Tyranitar probably is scaring out the Typhlosion, because, well, Tyranitar is one of the better answers in the Typhlosion teams.
Yeah,
or at least teams that center around Typhlosion doing all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, that's certainly true, but I also wonder if David will try to switch things up a little as well. Didn't bring the Sinistcha or the Milotic in game 1. Milotic, specifically, probably could have been pretty useful.
Not into Rillaboom, I'll tell you that much.
Not into Rillaboom, although certainly you can tear out of certain matchups against the Rillaboom, and it does mean that the Incineroar has a harder time if you are competitive and getting those boosts out of it, so I wonder if David wants to play more into that style, because Golden Go, fun, but got kind of blown up by one knockoff and didn't get to do a whole lot. Garchomp, basically nothing. Tyranitar got some good damage down, missed a lot of Rock Slides. Potentially 1 or 2 of those could have mattered.
Two of those missed.
And both of those were pretty decent priority targets for pretty decent damage. And the Talonflame didn't get to do much at all because of the Farigiraf. And so I wonder if David's going to switch things up and change out 1 or 2 of these Pokemon.
Alright, here goes game number 2 of round number 5 here. David Ochoa Jr. leading differently this time. It's going to be Sinistcha Tyranitar, and Michael leads differently too. It's going to be the Ursaluna and Rillaboom.
Yeah, that was the same lead as game number 1. He immediately switched out the Rillaboom, but the Sinistcha is very different, and does signal a couple of different things that Michael now might want to do against it. The Ursaluna has a bit worse of a matchup now because of this, because the Tyranitar and the Sinistcha are both present here. And so it might be necessary to switch out the Ursaluna here, yeah.
I gotta get out of here. In range of Matcha Gotcha, it's definitely not something you want to be in here. Wolf's Incineroar's back!
Hey,
it's like he never left!
It's like he never left. And it does get the Intimidate down on the Tyranitar, which is pretty important early on.
And it's protecting.
And it just protects, but not a big deal.
I wonder what the Rillaboom does. It's probably U-turn. It fakes out the Tyranitar!
I don't hate that. I don't really see a particular need for it to switch out.
And Trick Room goes up for Sinistcha.
I'm curious how this is going to go, because I don't hate Trick Room going up here, but I don't think it benefits either of them much more than the other.
The only thing we get to see here is that Sinistcha does underspeed the Rillaboom and Trick Room. That's the only thing we get to see because of that safety gauntlet Incineroar.
Yeah.
which makes me wonder if you actually go for Matcha Gotcha at all if you're David, because it has a chance to burn the Rilla, but I don't know. It should not. Yeah, burn should not hit that fire type, so it's only got a chance to burn the Incineroar. Otherwise, it's kind of stuck launching nothing. Actually,
yeah, it can only
protects.
Yeah, it's kind of just got to sit here for a little while, especially because we can't Rage Powder the Rillaboom
It's just
either.
the Fake Out Bros!
Yeah, it's the Fake Out Brothers.
It's Tyranitar flinching again, just can't get a move on, and is doubling into the Tyranitar, and yeah, it's a switch out for the Rillaboom too.
And now Michael gets to pivot back into the Furgiraffe for the first time, so he's already shown all 4 of his Pokemon. But what can...
And once again, finish off slower than Furgiraffe.
Yeah. What can David do?
Oh, that Tyranitar is actually really fast. It's actually probably the last thing in triggering the move.
I think it might be. I mean, we saw it move ahead of the Furgiraffe earlier. It just seems to be a fast Tyranitar, and you can certainly hit like a good mid-speed point against a lot of Pokemon with that. Like a lot of Pokemon in the kind of base 80 to 90 range. But when Michael is running such a slow team with the slow Furgiraffe and the...
Oh, there's a Milotic!
There is the Milotic indeed.
Furgiraffe just going to protect this turn, won't threaten to get damaged by a knockoff and lose that Throat Spray anytime soon. This Incineroar goes for Parting Shot into the Tyranitar, so carefully gets around the Milotic's competitive attack. Would have been a +3 special attack, but it actually hit the Milotic. Instead, it's going to put the Tyranitar on -2 attack, and now it's going to be a little wary about when it switches in.
Yeah, that could have been a little bit dicey there for a minute, but...
And Rillaboom is a way to get a way back into this game, and now Knockoff was targeting the Furgiraffe, and now this Milotic's kind of in a dicey situation if it doesn't go for its Racialization this turn.
Yeah, and I think even more than that, Michael's in a good spot to fake out the Tyranitar and get Furgiraffe set up with a Hyper Voice. Because then Michael is going to be... I mean, you don't really have to worry about the Terra in that case, and you can kind of just focus down the Tyranitar side more than anything else. Because honestly, I think Milotic is useful in this matchup. I think it does have value. I think Michael...
Hold on.
Well, Michael kind of picked up on a good spot to switch out the Incineroar and not have to deal with the Milotic a lot. And now you can just kind of let it sit there for a while and not have to worry too much about it.
I had a point in mind I think David needs to be an eye on for it. I think he might... Okay, I'll see. I was about to point out you could probably haze your own Tyranitar Trust since Tyranitar is the last to move in Trick Room and get rid of this attack Trust, and now instead Golden Gun just switches in face of that Wood Hammer, and now we see a Terrestrialization from David's side of the field. It's that Milotic. It's afraid of Rillaboom. Not anymore. It's that Terra Dragon.
I like the Terra Dragon on the Milotic in general. Just a good defensive typing to go with water.
Hyper Voice comes out, won't affect the Golden Go at all. It's going to get that Throat Spray boost now into a special attack time. Milotic took a semi-decent chunk there, and now... I'm actually interested to see where does Milotic attacks here. It's going to be the Haze. And,
okay. Well, that means it takes away the Throat Spray, so that's
okay.
Not nothing.
Okay, I was going to say it probably didn't do anything, but yeah, you're right about that one. Okay, Wood Hammer over half the Golden Go. That's a big hit. Oh, that's a critical hit.
Critical hit, yeah. I mean, it's still very good damage there, and as much as Golden Go will heal up with the leftovers and the grassy terrain recovery, it's still a lot of damage to take, and it feels weird trying to set up Golden Go in this spot. Again, I mean, Michael... It's weird that David focused so much on getting the Trick Room up immediately when it seems like Michael's Pokemon are just slower.
just a lot of, misconceptions with this Trick Room, as this is the last turn, meaning Tyranitar does get an opportunity to potentially switch back in safely. And if you're going to be Michael here, I think Rillaboom's important to save for this Tyranitar. And it's weird to switch it Incineroar to try to stop it, because I don't see that happening anytime soon. This Milotic's unironically playing a decent game right now in this position.
That's certainly true, but there are also ways through this Milotic right now. It just might require, again, Michael's being very patient about this so far, and I think it will just require a lot of patience to slowly work through this work through this Milotic and try to win this matchup.
Protect from Farigiraf to get out of this Trick Room kind of relatively unscathed. It's an icy win, so this is going to set up for the play after Trick Room for David. It's going to connect onto the Rillaboom. That's a decent amount of damage. It will take that speed drop, meaning it's going to move next to this Golden Go. It's a U-turn, so it's just going to pivot out, and I have to imagine this is Blood Mercy Luna, unless, of course, another critical hit, first of all. Unless, of course, you think you can handle the Milotic with Incineroar.
Yeah, and it also depends on how fast you think everything on your team is, because we will be out of Trick Room at the end of this turn. Also, do have to worry about this here.
Nasty plot.
Although, yeah, it's just a nasty plot, which makes sense.
And now, okay, so the Farigiraf was on. I mean, we don't even know that. We know Rillaboom was under speeding after the Icy win. It comes down to how fast this Golden Go is with this Make It Rain.
Yeah, and also how much it even does to both these Pokemon. So I think it'll be good damage, but I don't know if it will be good enough damage. We could also see something like Michael trying to set up the Trick Room here with the Farigiraf out here on the field. Because, hey, why not?
It's certainly an option, because we did see Michael's mostly control Pokemon. We've seen all 4 of his. We've seen also all 4 of David's Pokemon. Sinistcha could also just come in and heal up this Golden Go a lot, or it could just switch in to heal up the Milotic, although I think, personally speaking, you do want to try to heal up this Golden Go much further if you're going to switch to this Milotic, and I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, that makes sense.
What comes in here? It is a Sinistcha, so Golden Go going to get almost to full HP here, and hopefully launch a big Make It Rain.
Yeah, it's mostly a question of how much this Golden Go does with the Make It Rain.
Farigiraf also swaps, so no Trick Room's going to happen. So this Ursa Luna kind of has to do the heavy lifting here this turn. Rillaboom comes in.
Rillaboom does come back in. It's the one who's taken the most damage so far on Michael's side.
And, Golden Go protects.
Okay.
I'm interested to see what the Blood Mercy Luna did. It also protects, and since it was the last Pokemon to move, it has to fail every time.
Yeah. Weird turn for sure. No fake out targets for Rillaboom now on the field.
And I think Golden Go's back at full HP.
Golden Go is pretty much back at full HP.
It is. It's back at full.
Oh yeah, I guess it is full.
And now I think you could just launch Make It Rain plus Magic Gotcha without much worry.
Certainly could.
Rage Powder is certainly an option for this Blood Moon or Saloon to drive away the Earth Power, but
I think that probably
makes more sense.
Pretty valuable, yeah. And the Matcha Gotcha doesn't do too much damage on top of it. You would think the Ursaluna either would want to switch out here or Terra, so whatever you do with the Make It Rain.
It could also just be a Incineroar switching, because there's no Milotic in play.
Yeah, exactly. And David could try to call that out, but
I mean, if it's going to be the call out, it's got to come in. Oh, Golden Go swaps?
That's interesting.
What comes in? The Milotic. Oh, is this an Incineroar switching from Michael? Is it?
If it is, it's a little bit of a call out, although...
Oh, hold on. That's a switch out from Ursaluna. It is into Incineroar. It's getting a competitive boost.
It will get the competitive boost. I will say, as much as it is nice to get the competitive boost, it's not completely game-altering.
Not yet, at the very least, because it depends on what this moveset. It's going to be used, turned into this Milotic. Nice. And Rocky Helmet gets revealed from the Milotic.
Yeah, that's definitely pretty nice there, getting an additional chunk onto the Rillaboom.
And Farigiraf comes back in. Sinistcha's yet to move. So it's no Rage Power. It's either Trick Room or it's going to be a Matcha Gotcha. So not going to do much to Incineroar. Probably a decent amount to the Farigiraf. Yeah, with the Grassy Terrain, it's doing alright damage to both, and no burns.
Yeah, no burns. Not too crazy of damage. I mean, now it's probably good for Michael to try to hit the Milotic a little bit. I think getting the items off of all these Pokemon would be good for Michael, and trying to get knockoffs would be nice. Obviously, you do have to be a little bit worried about that competitive boost that did pop up, but...
Is it a Tyranitar switch in? Yes, the Sandstorm's back on!
Yeah, anything else would be a little bit dangerous there. Switching in the Golden Go in that slot would be a little bit dangerous. You worry a bit about the knockoff.
And you worry about Milotic taking any unnecessary damage as well. And Farigiraf protects too. Might be a party shot into the Sinistcha slot, or it could be, yeah, Flare Blitz comes out. So Tyranitar's going to take that really, under half, actually a lot more than I thought it would do. No burn.
No burn, and pretty decent damage. But
Milotic's first to move amongst this turn order.
Yeah. which is interesting. Goes ahead of the fur giraffe. I guess it's not surprising for us.
What might be surprising is Milotic Musa, because, fun fact, Milotic was one of the few Pokemon that actually retained Scald from generation to generation.
Yeah, it still has the Scald. Still a very nice, nice slammable move for it, and
it's great in Incineroar right now.
It is certainly solid into Incineroar right now.
Especially at +2.
Switch out.
A Tyranitar switches out immediately.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a Sinister for healing, probably. No, it's Golden Go.
It is Golden Go, and I'm curious.
It's called into the Farigiraf. Almost gets the KO with a +2 competitive boost. Does not get the burn. And Goodness Gold's going to block the party shot into the Tyranitar slot. Trick Room set up.
Yeah, I like the Trick Room setup. This was almost a really, really nice play for Michael here, because the Trick Room would have been a Trick Room parting shot that would put Ursaluna on the field next to the Fur Giraffe under Trick Room. They're both slower. They can just start running stuff over. And now it gets a lot more awkward.
Shout out to Golden Go and Good as Gold.
Yeah, Good as Gold, just such a strong ability. It's still not a bad spot because you can Flare Blitz into that Golden Go slot, and the only real downside would be if it switches out into Tyranitar. And Incineroar should still be the slowest thing on the field here, or at least certainly slower than both of these Pokemon on David's side.
They most certainly should be, and I'm more so wondering if Sinistcha is even a part of the game plan anymore, because Machatasha didn't do anything. It was more so like Sinistcha's been mostly reserved to healing duties.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's there for. I think it's certainly going to...
switch it out. Probably a Rillaboom switch in, if you ask me. Yeah, it's Ursaluna, actually.
Yeah, I like the Ursaluna here because there's not a ton...
Golden switches it immediately.
Huh.
What comes into that slot now for David? It's going to be that Sinistcha. Milotic's healing.
Milotic is healing, but Sinistcha, I think, is going to take a big hit from Incineroar here.
Milotic drank down all the matcha that Sinistcha's made. Big Flare Blitz into the Sinistcha. Not enough for a one-hit KO!
Still no KOs in this battle here. We have gone on for a little while with nothing of that to show for it.
And a Citrus Berry procs on the Sinistcha, healing it a bit more. Scald, big one in Ursaluna. That's a one-hit KO!
There's the KO. So Ursaluna is out of here now, and that's a bit awkward for Michael. Might have been predicting something different from David. Might have expected the Milotic to go, okay, Fur Giraffe just going to protect again, going to stall out a turn, going to just do something here, and nope.
None of that.
For the Scald in there and picking up the KO, and now it's going to be really difficult to KO this the Milotic.
Yeah, especially with both these Incineroar and Rillaboom out into a Rocky helmet holder of Milotic.
Yeah, and I mean, you can knock off the Milotic. It's eventually going to do something, but the issue is just where do you find the damage to KO this thing? And it might just be you have to get the Sinistcha out of here, you have to KO the Tyranitar, you might just have to KO everything else and then just slowly get to the Milotic and win with, like, Farigiraf or something.
But Farigiraf has his Sport used up already.
Yeah, and it's on very low HP, so it's going to be really difficult for Michael after losing Ursaluna there.
Sinistcha protects. Probably a free fake out into the Milotic if you're really not worried about the Milotic doing much of anything here. Yeah, no fake out. It's just going to be a knockdown into a Sinistcha that protected. Rillaboom, I think, is going to U-turn here based on what this turn's screaming here. Incineroar does go down to +2 Scald.
Yeah, it turns out that switch in for the competitive really, really helped David here.
And it's a double into the Sinistcha on top of that.
Yeah, I like the idea that, like, okay, Incineroar goes first and it knocks out the Sinistcha. If it's Tyranitar that comes in, Woodhammer picks up the KO. I like the idea for Michael, but ultimately David's just got a really good position here in the end of this game number 2.
And Farigiraf in very low HP territory, and probably 2 turns left to trick to make magic happen. It's not over quite yet, but, you know, Davis is still in a commanding position.
Yeah, and I mean, still got a game 3, so...
if we go there.
I think David's going to win this one. It's going to be real difficult for David not to pick up this game. I mean, you pretty much KO the Farigiraf with anything, and past that, the Rillaboom's not going to be able to stand up against 4 Pokemon still standing for David.
One of the main Golden Go, which we've seen from this Rillaboom moves that kind of does have a struggle to deal with if it weren't for that critical hit from that Woodhammer earlier. Machagata is going to KO the Ferrograph, will heal a bit of HP back, and it will get some more HP back from this Rillaboom. Hold for a burn, unless of course the KO goes first. The KO on the Ferrograph. Do we see a burn for this Machagata? 20% chance at the time. It doesn't happen. It's just going to be a +2 Icy Wind. And this trigger doesn't seem awful, but again, it gets KO'd by an Icy Wind right there. Single target. And we have a game 3 once again from these two trainers.
Yeah, we sure do. And again, I'm curious what the adaptation is going to be, because I think Michael is certainly playing this really, really slowly and carefully, and David said, okay, if you're going to play this slowly, I'm going to play this slowly. I'm going to bring the Sinistcha, I'm going to get those hospitality bonuses, I'm going to bring the Milotic, and make it so that when you switch in that Incineroar, you have a bad time. And now it's the question, okay, Michael has seen the 4 from David, has seen the Tyranitar, and the Sinistcha, and the Milotic, and the Golden Go. Do you switch things up now and go for a faster mode here, or do you just say, I have to use these 4, I can't make the... We'll see.
Well, I mean, the problem with Michael aside is like he really had a hard time dealing with Tyranitar and Golden Go specifically, and he thought, oh, if you're going to be cycling Incineroar as much as you are, Milotic seems really good here. And guess what? Milotic did track the Incineroar, and eventually it had to come out.
Yeah, eventually it was able to catch the Incineroar switch in and get the competitive boost that basically won the game. And I think there are ways for Michael to deal with the Milotic, even just with the 4 Pokemon that he had before, but I also think that the Typhlosion and Whimsicott deal a lot better with these Pokemon than they did with the version that includes the Talonflame and with the Garchomp, and so it might just end up being which side reads the other team going too passive and trying to play things a little bit too slowly, or which side finds the other team trying to get a little bit too aggressive, and the other way around.
Yeah, both sides have Tailwind both sides have Tailwind and Trick Room. It's just like, this has been a more Trick Room heavy game plan from both players, and well, they realize if my Talonflame can't do anything in this paragraph, I don't think it's worth bringing.
Yeah, that's exactly true, but at the same time, it's just a question of, okay, do I think the Ferrograph will be there again?
The Tyranitar Sinistcha again from David in game number 2. Wins the Typhlosion from Michael!
Seen it now, and now it is just the question of, do we go for...
Oh, he's going for it.
We're just locking in our moves. I like it.
Michael's going for it. This might not KO Tyranitar because of his naturally high HP and special defense, but if it's any means to KO Sinistcha, that could be a good thing.
Yeah, and I mean, it seriously threatens everything here. The dogs are scared. The dogs are doing well.
They're scared of the eruption!
Just a little bit.
Who fears Typhlosion? The dogs!
Yeah, and that's the big thing as well with the way that David played this out, is that now he's bringing Pokemon that are slower than the specs Typhlosion, and doesn't
Terrifier
really
too.
Get ahead of it. Yeah, the Terrifier specs Typhlosion, but still, it's not the best situation. First of all, it's in the Sandstorm, so it's going to be doing much less damage into the Tyranitar. What is the Terrestrialization coming around from David? I'm fascinated. It's
Sinistcha!
Okay.
It's Sinistcha! It's Water Terra, so it's going to resist it too!
Yeah, it's going to be 2 resists. We'll see if Typhlosion can still do a ton of damage to these.
Oh, it's Sunny Day! It's going to do heavy more damage now that the Sandstorm's out of the way! It's full power now!
We'll see it.
It's full power, Terra Fire, Sex, Sun Eruption, and no KOs!
No KOs, still pretty good damage. Sinistcha is going to get the Citrus Berry recovery. Now it's a question of what...
Rockslide connects! It hits both Pokemon! Typhlosion goes down in a single hit!
That is pretty big, but it did break a decent-sized hole in the other team, and now it's a question of, can Mickey capitalize on that as this moves forward?
Trick Room goes up!
Trick Room! That could actually be really good for Mickey with the Ursaluna in the back. It could also be the Rillaboom switch in.
It's going to be a Rillaboom coming in here.
I would like to see the Ursaluna there, but I guess the Rillaboom's fine. You know you have super effective damage against both of these, and you can try to play this out a little bit slower and try to get the Ursaluna in later to finish things off, but
I had to imagine there's at least one switch out from David. You know, you have a couple of resistance in Talonflame and Golden Go just naturally on your team, although I don't think Talonflame is going to come into the matchup. If you saw Furograph do what it did like throughout the first 2 games, I'm just more interested to see what the Sinistcha does here, because you can't Rage Powder either of these grass types. Machigotch is not doing a whole lot of damage to either of these Pokemon. You're pretty much only fishing for birds if you're going that route.
Yeah, I think you might have to either switch out or protect on Sinistcha right now, just because, because of the Encore threat. Getting Encore into Trick Room might be bad, although I think Encore is better for Michael right now.
Alright, there's the Golden Go switch in here, and no Encore comes out. It's another Rock Slide. KO's Whimsicott before it can move!
Yeah, and it's not horrible for Michael if he's able to pick up a KO here with the Rillaboom, or at least able to do something with Rillaboom.
It's one hammer into the Golden Go. Then, however, half last time cuts with the critical hit, and now this time is more reasonable damage, and Tyranitar has one more attack before it faints or gets hit by a Grassy Glide.
Yeah, again, this is a weird spot for Michael to be in, but I don't think it's a terrible one, just because you do have the Ursaluna in the back to try to win this, and you know where the Terra is already. You don't have to Terra Road.
Ooh, and the last Pokemon for Michael is that Ursaluna Blood Moon, which might not look good into Sinistcha in the back.
I think it's really the only way that you could win this is having the Ursaluna in the back here. I mean, the big thing is you just have to underspeed the Sinistcha. You have to keep Trick Room up long enough to underspeed the Sinistcha and hit it with whatever. Like, probably like a Hyper Voice or even a Blood Moon. And then you're probably good. Because at this point, it's just a matter of, okay, can Ursaluna do enough damage to win this? And can Rillaboom support it a little bit with some extra damage? But mostly, it's just the Ursaluna needs to at least pick up a KO per turn.
Which is pretty difficult to do considering the Pokemon that Michael has on his side, and then the switch out for Tyranitar as well. It's going to be a Sinistcha, so might need to take a hit here. And heals the Golden Go to full again.
Might need to take a hit here, but at the same time, could be a big
Grassy Glide, KO Sinistcha, so that's good news for Michael, at least this turn. So Sinistcha, parting gift the Golden Ghost, gonna get back to full HP, which could end up mattering against this Ursaluna depending on the speed order. Is it Earth Power? It is Earth Power. This is gonna be big. It's Life Orb boosted. Golden Go goes down in one hit!
Yeah, I really like how Michael played this out, getting this collection of Pokemon in at this point, because now finally, you have dealt with the Sinistcha. You're not dealing with that healing anymore. That was a little bit of a weird switch. I guess you had to switch in the Sinistcha, but it was a little bit of a weird switch in there, and now no Terras available for either of these Pokemon. They're both weak to Grass. They're both weak to Grassy Glide. And that makes things real awkward trying to take these out.
Yeah, I was about to say, this -6 not a good spot because you would love to get either an Icy Wind or a Scald off onto this Ursaluna, but if the Trick Room up is actually playing against David, not with the Tyranitar, because Tyranitar is going to get picked off by a Grassy Glide, but also playing against the Milotic here.
Yeah, exactly, and I mean, it's going to be most difficult because Milotic, even if it's able to get through this first turn, Tyranitar's either going to drop or it has to protect here, and you just don't have the damage for Rillaboom more than anything else. Like, you don't have the damage for both Rillaboom and Ursaluna. Like, I think Rillaboom honestly could pick up both of these here potentially, or at least
Grassy Glide, KO Tyranitar, so now it is a free, it's a 2-on-1 situation with Michael bringing it back with just 2 Pokemon, believe it or not. Blood Moon comes out, so it's going to be a slower Milotic and Trick Room against both these Pokemon. Not enough to KO the Milotic in a single hit, but that is 100% Grassy Glide range, and I think Michael will have his revenge from last season.
Yeah, and that Skull does no damage at all.
And no burn!
And no burn. But it would not have mattered. I think the Grassy Glide KOs from that range regardless. Yeah, this... I really, really like how Michael played this game. It definitely... it was a very, very long set, as you at home certainly witnessed, but I think Michael certainly prepared things well.
He did, and that's how he gets the run back on David Ochoa Jr. David got the one-up on him last season in stream. This time, it's Michael Aguirre who gets it back with a 2-1 victory.
Yeah, I just really like the Whimsicott Typhlosion lead in that game, and we mentioned it's like, oh, it didn't pick up any KOs, Sinistcha didn't get KO'd, Tyranitar didn't get KO'd. They still took a ton of damage. It put Tyranitar in range to get picked off by Grassy Glide later. It put Sinistcha in range to be picked off by Grassy Glide later. You get one more big hit off once the Rillaboom switched in, and at that point it's just so difficult for David to play around having so many messed up health bars when Ursaluna comes in and plays around the Trick Room. And again, it was the case where someone put up the Trick Room and the other person benefited from it.
Yeah, and talk about things that shouldn't go their way. How about Trick Rooms that never work? Anyway, speaking of something that will work, it'll be this next commercial break. We have one more round of Swiss. This is what we call here, for you football fans, the witching hour. Who will make it the top cut and who will have their dreams crushed? We'll be back after this break.